Alright, this is Zaha playing Enshrouded. Uh, Starting a game with a character that's already been made. So, a little bit of cheating, but it's at default settings. Oh. Yeah, it's a pretty good game. Pretty good movement. Really nice graphics. The scenery's good. Enemies are pretty interesting. And the crafting for bases and materials and weapons and everything is pretty nice. I've found about 50 different base building materials so far. Pure light engulfs the knowledge of the ancient breed, protects it in a flaming core, wisdom far beyond my own imagination. I could stare into the fire for hours, seeking answers, a whisper, but I hear none. Despite possessing a voice, it only speaks to those born from the flame. A shame as I believe we could have quite enlightened conversations. Balthazar. Yeah, this is just the first little corner of the map, and as you can see, that looks pretty nice. While there's some games that may be more gorgeous, this game looks nice, decently realistic for a video game. Motion on this is pretty good. Let's come on over and harvest some berries. There we go, chests. Lots of hidden secrets all over the map. Another really cool thing about this game is you can actually build and construct almost anywhere, and you can damage everything in the game. As you can see, I'm just tearing right into the wall, and you can do that with pretty much anywhere you go. The construction's here. You can tear through that. It gives you the resources for all of it. And every new resource that you get gives you new blueprints. Let's see. Hit Alt, switch up type of weapons. While the caves are pretty dark, there is a lot of cool stuff you can find in here. Keep on finding more torches. And now we are in the mist. Enshrouded is an early access game. Those shroud spores, you definitely want to pick those up. Those will become very important later on in the game. They're used for making all sorts of different resources, including weapons, armors, upgrading, and a number of other different building supplies and whatnot. Just keep on coming through this cave. You've got a really good skill tree that allows you to build off into multiple different areas. Let's check that out real quick. Uh, this is all armor from a later stage character, but this is the beginning of the game. As you can see here, it's really nice skill tree. Allows you to build off into magic. It allows you to build into single hand sword fighting, two handed sword fighting, or heavy weapons. Uh, blade fighting with blades, fighting with bow and arrow, other types of skills, jumping, healing. If you're playing with other people, there's a lot of different. You can have one guy that's a healer with magic down this way. You can have your battle mage, attack mage with a number of different attack spells. Uh, you can actually reset all of this, so you can start like make your character something completely different if you don't like what you're doing. Let's see. Back to character sheet. You've got your attributes. Now my character isn't set up for one of the best, oh, we know exactly what we're doing. We're going to make, a super character. It's just me enjoying the game, playing. You also have different types of food that you can eat. Uh, some of the foods are like say just basic cooked meat or jerky or something like that, and it gives you a little bit of a stat boost. All the way up to like a very well crafted meal, which will give you major stat boosts. And each stat boost, or each of these meals, you can have three of them at a time. Let's switch up to an axe. Get yourself more berries for food. And you get some wolves, one of the earliest creatures to fight. Bones and wolf meat. That'll turn into good meals later on. Right here we have flint. That'll be good for making candles and whatnot. Dirt will be used for making different like pots and plants and whatnot. Use them for farming and things like that. Different resources have a different amount of stacks of items you can have. Let's see here. Going into your backpack. So some of these things can have stacks of 10. Some of them have, stacks of 100 or 50. All sorts of different treasures you can find. Right now it's the start of the game, so it's good to actually dig up some of these items. You can build, as I said, you can build almost anywhere on the map. And here in a moment, I will go over to the area where you're technically supposed to start your first base. Here's a couple enemies real quick. There's dungeons like this all over the map. There are certain NPCs you can find throughout the game. Now, those mushrooms that just burst are shroud spores, and they, while they injure you, it's not severely, and mostly what they're doing is affecting how long you can stay inside the shroud. Some of these chests you'll need to have lockpicks. And while yes, this is a dungeon, I can come in here and once again start just chopping right into these walls. If you're able to get rid of the shroud in certain areas, you can even build bases in areas that were formerly shrouded. I know it's kind of hard to see right now. Area is dark, but just showing you, you can start digging up resources in these areas. Once you're out of the shroud, you quickly regain your level of not being attacked by it. But if you stay in the shroud for too long, it will kill you. Now it says find the Revelwood Hollow Hall artifacts, 0 of 3. Let's go find these things. Uh, that's the Cinder Vault where we woke up at. This is Long Keep. This is how much of the map that I have revealed so far. This map is huge, and to this point, actually, to this point, I believe, yeah, to right about here is the beginning of the map. And that's only 1/3 of how much the map is actually supposed to be, because you can see all this area that still has not been made yet, since it's all early access. There's still a lot of things you can find in this game. A lot of things to do. There's lots of really cool bosses that you can fight. Let's see. Go into the backpack and just equip this for now. How about we try to build a flame altar then? Crafting. Flame altar. It's space. It's crafted. Go into the backpack. This is your initial area where it tries to tell you should build. So you build the flame. This is what protects you. This is where your base starts. It says you are not alone. There are other survivors drowsing in nearby ancient vaults. Find them so they may aid you in your journey. Go gently. One beckons nearby, just outside of the shroud's grasp. Now you can upgrade the altars, which increases the area that the size of your base, and you can increase this quite a few times. You need shroud cores, which you get from more powerful enemies, bosses and whatnot. You can strengthen the flame. Strengthen the flame's a good thing because it allows you to build more altars so you can have more bases around the map. And each of your altars is a fast travel point. There are also towers in the game that are fast travel points. Uh, you'll need sparks are about the hardest thing to find because those are for special enemies and special other locations. Let's see. And here's the reskill. So it costs a certain number of runes to reset your skills, and then you can make your character however you want to make them. Let's see. Now that I've done this, I can try crafting a base. Let's go ahead and put this back in place. And then hit tab to build. And this is saying that you need certain materials to build. Um, let's see. This can get really interesting. There's a lot of different ways to build in this game, a lot of different places you can build. I've got one friend and she was making a base inside of a cliff. So she was hollowing out the entire cliff just to be able to make her base. I've seen what some other people have done, which is really amazing. They've got lots of different stuff you can do for making bases. Now, whatever you do outside of your base or inside of your base zone will stay permanently so long as your base is there. So if you decide to change the landscape and everything else inside your base, it'll stay like that. Anything outside of your base zone uh, will, over time, regenerate. Now, it's not exactly quick, but over time, like if you're going into caves and trying to get plenty of iron, copper, stone, any other type of resource, and you've hollowed a whole area out, over time that will regenerate. So you'll be able to go back and collect that resource again. At least so far with the game. They may decide to change it since the game is early access, but there's a lot of stuff to find. And there's some really, really cool materials that you can use for building your base. I mean, you can make a castle out of marble and all sorts of other resources. It's just amazing the depth and quality that they put into this game. Show you the twin daggers real quick. This is a more recent update. And those were a couple of rabbits that have been killed by that wolf we just killed. Over here, you can collect fireflies. That helps you making lamps and whatnot for your base. At night, enemies will come out more, and the enemies will be stronger. You'll also be able to see the fireflies more easily, as well as seeing enemy corpses and whatnot. Now, most weapons don't glow the way my weapons are glowing. That's a later in the game uh, type of weapon. You'll also have magic staffs, and once you learn different magic abilities, you can use the staffs to cast those spells. Then you also have magic wands, and the wand's power is based off of the wand itself, not the staff. Let's see, can we build anything now? Let's see. Still don't have the resources, so we need to craft a workbench. So we'll need to go into our crafting, and I believe we don't have the resources yet to be able to make a workbench. Basic. Oh, that is a workbench. Okay, so we need to make string. Now that we've got that, we can go in here. We can place a workbench. We can then go into the workbench, and now we can craft blocks for building. Some mycelium, rough flint, rough stone, rough wood, and you'll be able to build more as time goes. You'll also be able to make these grappling hooks. There's certain points where you got to latch on to things with the grappling hook, and you'll be able to make a glider so you can glide for distances. Tiny chests, and they get all the way up to large magical chests. We'll make a couple of these just to be able to store some of our stuff, and we'll make some of these rough stone blocks. Now that we've got the stone blocks, we can go ahead and start building a base. Now it's saying I don't have enough resources to build out further than that. We will then pick this up. We can then place it back down here on our stone blocks. Place a couple of these. You can actually stack them. Right there. Now, the difference between a regular storage box and a magic storage box is regular storage box you can just shove things in, but that's it. magic storage box, you can once you store things, you can pull them out and or use them at any crafting station. Let's go ahead and just toss some of this stuff in here. Don't need all of it right now. There we go. In fact, since it's annoying to do this, I will move that into there. Let's pull out the glowing axe. I really like this axe. You see over here, there's a little archery spot. You can collect arrows that have been launched into targets and other locations. Right here is a mini shrouded location with some enemies. So you can just come in here, beat up the enemies, find the treasure box. I think it's one of the funniest things they ever did was make it normal that you just go into somebody's house and start taking smashing all their jars and taking whatever's in there. It's like, wow, that's kind of messed up. You're not supposed to teach kids that. There's a water well. We just collect a bunch of that. Water's necessary for helping with your health, but it's also necessary for making a large number of items in the game. So you'll want to collect a bunch of that and store that somewhere because those wells only give you a certain amount of water each time. And then eventually you're going to be like, oh, I need water. Oh, now I got to keep on waiting. Where instead, if you collect it, store it, you got it ready for later on. Oh, there's a goat. Get the goat. You use the fur later on to make leather. Let's see, what else we got around here? Books, cooked meat, uncooked meat. A good night's rest. Finally a break from the tedious work. My bones are sore, but the warmth of a fire, a little shelter, and some sleep should allow me to become well rested. Food is getting scarce. I hear they're planning an expedition. Thankfully, I hid some rations below my bed. They will make for a nice meal when cooked over a fire. And so you get over here, place food in your action bar, select it, and press left mouse button to cook. So we go on into here, grab some of the meat. Once it does that, it's all cooked up. Hear that little sizzle? Means it's done. You just don't want to overcook it. axe back in place. There we go, health potions. More wood. Certain trees, like these red ones, give you a higher rate or chance of getting resin, which is something you'll need here later on. Green trees have a much lower chance of giving you resin. Jump on down here, see what's around. Sometimes when you dig up these piles, you'll find other things in there that are hidden. Useful materials for construction or hidden treasure chests and whatnot. Unfortunately, this one does not have any of the treasure chests. Coming out here, got daytime. Get those shroud spores. Falling to ruin, we held out hope, digging through the rubble, our lips whispering prayers to the ancients, always a watchful eye towards the horizon. Even in this furthest corner of the world, the shroud threatens to engulf us and seal away any ray of hope. As the air grew thick with the cursed fog, we held on. As fires raged on the horizon, ash falling like snow on hollowing peaks, we pushed harder. May this home long kept usher us into the bright age. Sometimes you'll find some stairways that are half buried, and you'll want to dig those out because they'll lead into areas like this. Oh, need a lockpick, don't have one. The shroud looms. The blue jays no longer drift so carelessly through the air. Something is changing. A nebula flows toward us, springs from the abyss like a tidal wave. They call it the Shroud. It carries disease and suffering, changes soil and people. I must understand this madness, but discovering a remedy will be difficult, with supply lines cut off by the soldiers. Balthazar. As I said, you never know. Sometimes big piles of rubble will hide something, sometimes not. You can see over here there's a tree with beehives. Now it's best not to attack them with your sword. You could get attacked by bees. So we will use our bow and arrow. There we go. Wax and honey. Always useful. Come on down here. You'll see a bridge. There's a little rabbit. Oh, there's a wolf. Like I said before, there's some arrows you can collect, and they will, after a while, respawn. See the bridge, and that's where your hook is going to become useful. There's quite a few of those hook locations. There you go. Another hook. Jump. Come on up here. He's in the way. Let's go ahead and alright, that's not working, so let's bow and arrow. You want to be careful with these. Those are traps, and they will tear you up. Luckily, no bees came out of that, but enemy with double scythes. There's an explosive barrel. If you're starting out in the game and you're trying to use archery or magic, it's a good idea to keep an eye out for those explosive barrels. If an enemy's standing by it or a group of enemies, you can blow them up. Take your enemies out. You always want to look for these wherever you are on the map. This will instantly repair all of your equipment. Another failure. The cinder vessel broke down during testing. The rat I used inside was charred by a coalescent flame. A bright flash, then nothing. Thankfully, the side effect of blindness was only temporary. I have acquired a new subject, another rat, Igni. Hopefully our path to salvation. I cannot accept more setbacks. I will ensure that the cinder vessel holds as if my life depended on it. It may well. Balthazar. And these are one of the vessels that we woke up from as the Flameborn, I believe. More explosive barrels. Now, it may seem kind of asinine to do this, but sometimes these containers leave pretty decent loot. Sometimes they'll give you resources that you haven't yet uncovered. Oh, there we go. Ladder leading up. You want to keep on remembering there's all sorts of levels here. You can keep on finding all sorts of interesting items if you look up or down. Eureka! By the ancients I've done it. Equilibrium. The subject sleeps, yet can be awakened. They are dead, yet alive. The subject does not decay, is untouched by the coarse flow of time, a flame soul in a mortal body. Igni serves as proof. We can survive. We can endure. These cinder vessels will be our only chance amidst the shroud. We have no other choice. Balthazar. So Balthazar's the guy that pretty much put us into that vessel and kept us alive. Now, the glider I have right now is one of the best ones you could get. Oh, here we go. Ancient Vault of the Blacksmith. There's an enemy. Bunch of other stuff you can find in here. And right there in the back corner, you'll find the blacksmith. Now, when you use the summoning staff, you can summon the blacksmith to your base. You're going to want to make a bed for your blacksmith and anybody else you find. Let's see what this says. Venture forth. It's done. The cinder vessel is a delicate contraption, still volatile, yet brimming with potential and hope. The first human to enter will be our prototype, the kindling of a new spark. Thankfully, the blacksmith volunteered. He must enter the vessel and sleep until roused anew. Let his, lest he slips into eternity. May the ashes of one age sustain the seeds of the next. Balthazar. There we go. New weapon. You'll need bones later on to make bone meal, and bone meal is used for growing crops. And that's about everything in here. See over here, there's flames, which means an enemy base. I'm going to actually go back to my base, turn in some resources, or store my resources, try to build the building a little bit more. Oop. Captain's Journal, Day 20. We are hungry. We had to destroy the bridge, and with it our connection to supplies. But it worked. We haven't seen any more scavengers. The cinder vault and those within it are safe, and should remain so. If we are to avoid starvation, we may have to take our chances in the horrible shroud. Either choice is certain death. Captain Arkwright. This is a pathway down into the shroud. Stay on the path, lest the shroud's kin take you. Salvation lies straight ahead. Also, whenever you're running on a road, you use up less stamina. That restore time gives you more time inside the shroud. There's some more enemies. The enemies do get much harder. You want to remember to get that glider and use it to the best of your abilities, because you don't want to take that fall damage. You can transfer your characters over to other people's servers, play with them. So if you've built a character up that's pretty decent and you want to go play with a friend, you can bring that character over there to your friend's server, and in fact, you can bring all sorts of resources with you. That way, they'll be able to, you can hook them up with all sorts of new stuff that they may not have yet. Captain's Journal, Day 6. The raiders have besieged us these past 2 days, attacking from the bridge. Their eyes, such madness. We have withheld so far, but only just. We must not survive. We may not survive the next assault. I've ordered to rig the pass with our last munitions. If those scavengers return, we are prepared. Captain Arkwright. Yeah, I know I'm doing a roundabout way, trying to get back to base, but I kind of get distracted easily. So, oh, there's a wolf getting into our base area. Let's see. Now, let's go back in here, make some more of these stone foundations. Used up all our stone. Back to the inventory. Let's see. Oh, we put that in here. So we'll want this back. We'll want to see what else can we put over there. There's our hammer. And we'll just shove. Actually, we want to grab some of our resources out of here. That way we can build more stuff. Alright, Shift R shifts items that are already in that box, everything from your inventory of the same type into the box. And Shift left click brings everything, or brings a whole stack over into your inventory. Don't need the bones right now. Need the resin. And a lot of these weapons, if you don't need them, you can salvage them for resources and coins. Didn't mean to do that, but right clicking removes an item, puts it back into your inventory. Get back into here. We can still make tiny chests. We can make small chests, but we don't have nails yet. And then small magic chests. So you use spores, shroud liquid from plants inside the shroud, and a small chest. Just make a couple, release one more of those. Oh, wait. Shield will turn into coins. Oh, can't turn into coins, so you delete it. And then we've got wooden arrows, scrap arrows, and flint arrows. Copper arrows are later on, but once again, I'm using stuff from a different server. Now you can take your staff for placing characters, and you can place the blacksmith because you've got him. Let's talk to this guy.
Fame and glory.
So you can craft, he tells you need to get a shelter. Let's see. I need a proper shop to smith in. Only then can I craft the right equipment for your journey. Don't fret, it's not hard to build one. You'll need a workbench, some building blocks, and a construction hammer. Let's get to work. Then cleansing fire. Embervale can still be saved. Where there's ash, there's embers, kid. The shroud suffocates the valleys, so seek the elixir well with your new gear and raise the root of our misery. Ignite the depths and set this evil ablaze. Go on, I'm counting on you, Flameborn. Now he needs a bed. He also needs you to make a forge, a charcoal kiln. He'll be able to make you lockpicks later on with scrap metal. We're gonna need a bunch of stone. We need some more scraps. You can make the scrappy axe and the scrappy pickaxe, scrappy sword, spike club, ghostly shield, which is a energy shield instead of a solid shield. You get some armor for armor to start with. Scrap cage furniture, scrap vat, scrappy crate, scrap bucket, and then pots and pans, bowls, for whenever you want to make just decorations. Now with what he said, we're gonna come on over here. Oh, wait, wrong one. We're gonna need lots of stone, so I'm just gonna go over here to some rocklet areas. I'm tired. I know this is the boring part. Nobody ever really wants to watch you start grinding resources. Right there, that giant tower, that's one of the points that you will have to get to as a fast travel location. And there's another tower right there. And I think that's another one even further in the distance past that. Those fast travel locations, once you've climbed to the top of the tower, and there's like mini puzzles in there, as well as a bunch of resources that you haven't yet discovered. You'll be able to use those for uh, you climb up to the top of them, you can use your glider, and you can glide out across the land to a greater distance. It also unlocks parts of the map so you can see different areas more, instead of it all just being enshrouded. Uh, Annoyance of stamina. There we go. Meat. Increases your stamina a bit. Increases your health. Allows you to work longer and harder. Now, the areas where you see the red shroud down there, that is super toxic. It's not just shroud toxic, it's super toxic. And there's a possibility of shroud that's so thick that it's almost like lava. So you don't want to go down there and touch that stuff. It's an instant death or near instant. Back to base. And we will build. Let's craft some more of this. Actually, let's see. He needs a bed, so we need more plant fibers, string, and torn cloth. We've got that in some of the boxes. Plant fibers. We've got cloth. We've got. I thought we had string. Unless I'm just blind. It's quite possible. I don't see string. Alright. So since I don't have string on me, we will go back in here. We will craft some string in our inventory. Now we will craft a bed for him. Some more string. Craft a bed for ourselves. Craft a better bed for ourselves. Here we go. We got a couple beds. First we'll make foundations. Just lots and lots of foundations. Because you can't build walls or anything else without the blocks. Here we go. Just making a wider base area for us to build on. Alright, now we switch up to regular walls. Rotate was... Oh, R. R is rotate. Oops. Move that. Replace it with that. I'm just putting in these doors so that you can expand the building easier later on. And I'm making it taller so while it's not necessary, it won't feel as claustrophobic. This is just a basic building. I'm not really trying to make anything super special just now. It's just a box. Add a stone. Let's go ahead and place the beds. I sworn I made two of these. Oh well. I don't really care about feng shui. I just care about stuff getting in the way. There we go. He now has a bed. It's covered. That's why. Because I made a crude mattress and then turned it into a bed. Just come on out here, gather some more materials. Need the plant fibers to make more string, to make another bed. Some nighttime enemies. Go ahead and get some more stone so we can top off that roof. Yeah, as I said, this is the boring part. This is the part that some people like to do this. It's enjoyable to them. It's grinding. I'd actually don't mind this part myself, but watching other people do it, yeah, it's boring. And this isn't one of those games where you get a bunch of critters that'll go out and get the materials for you. So you gotta do this part on your own. Or if you got friends that have done it, you can always say, hey, can you come on over and help me out and hook me up? There we go. Eventually you'll be able to adjust the land, the terrain, and everything, make things easier for yourself. But for now, just do this. Some manual crafting, make some more string. Make a bed itself. Then go back into the resources. Place my bed. I'm gonna put it on the opposite side of the room because, you know, I'm not snuggling with the blacksmith. Now that we can see that we didn't place everything correctly, but and I will make stairs. There we go. Now we can get in and out of here. Up to the roof. We'll be able to make more stuff here. We'll be able to make it higher. Let's see. We also need doors. Are we able to make doors yet? Yes. Okay, we can make 3 regular doors and a hobbit door. Oh, nope. It didn't make the hobbit door. It just made 4 regular doors. There we go. That way you won't have enemies just walking in and attacking. There we go. Let's see if he's got. Alright, we got scraps so we can make. We got stone. Let's make a kiln. We need charcoal. Don't have any of that yet. We'll need to use the kiln for that. We can make some nails. Come on over here. Place the kiln in the corner. Access it. And the recipe for that would be wood logs and dirt. So we will toss some wood logs in there. And we will toss some dirt in there. Now you can make this, I believe it's 40 by 40. So you can make this 40 high and you can go 40 low underneath. Let's see what else we got here. We'll store the stone blocks for now because I'm not really a builder. And let's see, put that away. Some charcoal should be done. Nope, not yet. Takes a while. Now you can hollow out a dirt mound and place this in there, and you can have your own hobbit hole, which is pretty cool considering. If you want, you can put up scaffolding. You can use that. While it's decorative, it's also can be used for getting up to higher points to build your buildings higher. And it looks like we need more wood logs, so while we're making charcoal, we'll go get some logs. Yeah, when I first started playing Enshrouded, your blacksmith there and the other people that you're able to get weren't able to move around, Since then, they have updated the game. Your blacksmith and other character or other NPCs are able to move around the building, your base. Uh, they now need to have beds where before they didn't. They've got new side missions. Some of them are hide and seek, some of them are go kill these enemies. None of them are really time based, luckily. You're also able to find animals that you can raise for your yard. So you can decide that you want to have a cattle farm, sheep, dogs, cats, things like that, and raise them inside your base. Some of them are useful. The cattle will give you milk, and you can slaughter them if you get too many for extra meat. Sheep will give you wool, and once again, slaughter them if you need for extra meat. There we go. Good amount of wood. We can make some more stuff with that. Let's go ahead and make a small chest. Now, if I use some spores and shroud liquid, I can actually turn this small chest into a magic small chest, which is probably a good idea. But I need some shroud liquid for that. So for now, I will shove these items into their necessary boxes. And then I will go down here into the shroud for a minute so I can get some more, or get some of the shroud liquid. There you go. These bubbles give you shroud liquid. Then you got bugs, and they'll give you critter parts. There we go, more shroud liquid. Keep collecting some of this so we can go back to base, make a magic chest. Then you can draw resources straight from that chest instead of having to go into each chest and figure out where all your items are and whatnot. Need a little bit more of this. Yep, those are the ones you gotta hack. I don't feel like it. There we go. That should be enough shroud liquid. Let's see, anything else up here that might be able to get destroyed real quick? Eh, not really. Anything worthwhile. These mushrooms. Oh, the spores, that's right. There we go. Spores. And now we can make a small magic chest. I'll start putting them up along this wall here. Come on. Now, I will store crafting materials in here. And there we go. Food's in there with some other items. Crafting materials are all collected to put into the small chest. Eventually, you're going to have, if you're anything like me, a chest for each type of material, stacked 3 or 4 high, and all of them are going to be magic chests. So you just go in there, be like, bam, here's all, everything of this type, here's all the stone, here's all the wood. They'll all be magic chests, so you just don't even have to worry about it. You can just come straight on up to your bench, craft whatever you want. As you can see, I don't have any of those resources in me right now, but I can now make any of those resources in my bench so long as I have the resources in that magic chest. Oop, a little bit too much fiber. We'll go ahead and make a campfire for ourselves. Come on over here, check this. We've now got some coal. And we can now use him. Come on, dude. Get away from there. Let me craft. Nope. Not enough steel scraps. So I gotta go make more steel scraps for him. And I'll put the campfire right here for now. We'll need to get wood into it. Or, actually, doesn't need wood, but you need to have the uncooked meat ready to go in there. And we will go to this one enemy location for finding some scrap metal. Start of the game, scrap metal is a big thing you're going to need. You're going to need those nails for quite some time, actually. There we go. Treasure chest. Jump up on these walls to climb. Oh, there's some enemies. Oh, wait. Don't want to do that yet. Because there are resources in here, and if I blow the place up, I won't get the resources. Oh, some bombs. Now we'll use the bow and arrow. Blow that up. Blow those up. You blow those up. There's a treasure chest hidden. Oh, here's some wild wolves. Alright, let's see what we got. Careful with this shipment. Argon, take care with this new shipment from the valley. The merchant says it's highly volatile. Apparently the explosives explode if jostled or tossed about. Who would have known? Anyway, I paid a pretty penny for this. Do not mess around in here. I can't afford to fix another hole in the wall. Some arrows. Sometimes you'll find interesting things on the roofs. Sometimes you're just going to find a way into the buildings. We already know how to make all these materials, so I'm not going to worry about that. Oh, yep, there's a swarm of bees. Still haven't got to the enemy. Up, there it is. That smoke stack right there is the enemy base, and they have lots of scrap metal there. What's it say? A cold reception. We've arrived at Rookmore, finally out of the shrouded lands. It was a difficult journey from the mountains. I'd hoped for a field hospital here, but there's almost nothing. I must take matters into my own hands. As I did at the front, I'll set up a camp in Woodguard. Switch up to this. Fix everything that's been damaged. I really love the glowing weapons because when you're in these darkened areas, kind of sucks having to use your torch because you can't hold a torch in one hand and a weapon in the other. It's kind of lame like that, but at least once you get the glowing weapons, you don't need the torch as much. Oh, gotta be careful. Don't want to blow up all these when there's stuff you can find. Although if the stuff doesn't matter, blow up the enemies. You can use some of those traps to kite enemies into locations, or you can kite the enemies into their own traps. Oh, here's it. As you can see, that 2 hits, which means those enemies are a lot tougher when you're starting out. Gold chests have a lot better variation of weapons, tools, items that you can get out of them. And if you have a save point, like one of your extra flames that you can set up as a teleport location, you can sometimes set them up really close to those golden boxes and then just keep on logging out and logging back in so that the box will keep on respawning new stuff for you. Because every time you go into a box, it's going to be something different. Dried fur. Now I know how to make small backpack. There we go. Blow a hole in the wall. Get some water. Not super useful just yet. It's useful, but not super useful. But it will become extremely useful later on when you're making things. There we go. Mysterious flask. The elixir, a flood of woe. It's a formula I do not quite grasp, sophisticated beyond imagination. I'm not surprised to know that the source of this recipe is otherworldly, created from the flesh of these tiny, delicate fungi growing deep beneath the earth. It grants power, yet when I look at this flask, worry fills my heart. This will never be a cure, this will always be a weapon. Perhaps the ancients wanted to hide this for a reason. Balthazar. Nice. Silver chest, but I don't have a lockpick. There he is. Go. And that should be about everything. Let's see the inventory. All right, 28 metal scraps. Now we will fast travel back to our base. Into the metal box, we will put our already collected resources. Put the. Actually, let's. Blunt knives can be salvaged. We'll put wax in there and resin. And for now, that's all we'll put into that box. We want to keep the wax. We want to put arrows. The apprentice wand can get salvaged. We'll put fur patches in there. And that's it. There we go. There's some more charcoal. We'll wake him up real quick and then we can craft our forge. And we'll place the forge next to the kiln. There we go. What can we craft here? We can craft metal sheets using charcoal and metal scraps. And then to make the night go by faster, just close the door for now, go to sleep, and night goes by a lot faster when you're sleeping. If you're in a party with other people, you want everybody to be in the bed at the same time. Kind of like in Minecraft. I am now well rested. He's lazy. Wake up. Now he can make rising fighter sets. Still not as good as what I've got on, but interesting. We'll need metal sheets.
Get back out!
Let's grab some charcoal. And take about half of that. Since that's the only recipe here, we'll use that to make some metal sheets. Now we can make more stuff like a bonfire outside. Need more resin so we can make a wall torch or a few wall torches. We got resin. We got more resin. Nice. Let's make, let's see, how about 4 of these just for the inside here? And then we can, oh, nope, we need more nails. We'll put up these, wall torches though. Light the place up a little bit. There we go. You're still sleeping? Make another one of these. Oh, we still need more shroud spores. And we'll just put the box in there until we get some more shroud spores. Actually, we'll take these out of there. And we'll put the nails in there because we'll need them. And let's see, what about our journal? 29 quests right now. So, wow. Ember Vale quests. Clear the elixir well. That'll give you the head of an enemy. Let's see. Collector has entrusted you with a task. The Revelwood Hollow Halls hide 3 magical artifacts inside. Find them to display them in your base. There are multiple hiding spots for the artifacts. Search for secret passageways and keep your eyes open. The location of the Revelwood Hollow Halls will appear on your map when you found it through exploration or accept the next collector quest. The latter will become available once you're at a high enough level. Underground infestation. A note mentioned unsettling surrounds coming, or no, a note mentioned unsettling sounds coming from a nearby water well. which a person carrying a large hammer went to investigate. Search the area and try to find the hammer. I'm gonna not read all these because that's a lot of these I gotta read. I'll go for a couple of these Flameborn quests. Er, Never mind. Anyways, lots and lots of quests. Some of them are based on your level. There's lots of different locations you can find. Elixir Wells, Shroud Root, Scavenger Camp with Mine Shaft, Flame Shrines, Peaceful Acres is a farm. Rookmore is that bandit camp we were just at. Ancient Vault of the Blacksmith is where we were earlier. Another Elixir Well, Hidden Tomb Entry, Flame Shrine, Small Flint Mine, Alchemist Tower, Hill of Scavengers. Right here, it's not marked yet because we haven't gotten close enough, should be the tower. There's the Harvest Homestead. It's another little farm. Woodguard, Egerton Salt Mines, Ancient Obelisk, Scavenger Stash, Critter Nests. Yeah, there's all sorts of different places you can go and discover. One of the best spots if you're just going to do a really kind of cheap way of, and I have done it, so I'm not going to say I'm any better than cheap, but it's kind of a cheesy way to get easy items. Is there is a golden chest somewhere in this area, and you can set up your flame right near it. Just make sure that the flame is just far enough away from the golden chest that it's just outside of the range of your base, and then you can log off, go to the golden chest, collect what's in it, go back and forth until you've got a good collection of whatever type of weapons and tools you want. We've got sleeping sands, we've got hollow halls, underground infestations, East Lapis, scattered cosmetic hunter items, something I still haven't collected yet. There's supposed to be a new boss up here somewhere called that's a giant dragon. Over here, I believe it's right over here, is a boss that's a giant enemy that's lots of fun to fight. There's other enemies all around the place. And right here is what's supposed to be your first mini boss. In fact, I think I'll go in there and fight that real quick, just to show you what that first mini boss looks like. And then after that, I think I will be done for this video for today. Let's see. Right down there somewhere, there's a building. Ah, there we go. That's what we're looking for. Right here. This is the elixir well. Plenty of enemies around here, so I can get some more of those shroud spores. Right here, if you're standing by the flame, you're not enshrouded, even though everything else around here is in the shroud. Then you come on down into the well. You could just jump straight down, but I'm just going down this way to Show you. When you're starting out, you're not going to have as much time in the shroud as I have. So you're going to want to try to get down there as quick as possible. Oh, magic. There we go. Critter parts. Those are always good. Oh, there we go. Fell Thunderbrute, the first mini boss. Yeah, it'll be a lot harder for you. There's a shroud core, so we should be able to uh, increase our flame. Then you come on over here. That doesn't do a lot of damage. Your regular axe does a lot more damage to this than your fighting axe. Now cleared out the shroud. Except for right around those spores. That red stuff, it's not lava, that's concentrated spores. And it affects you the same way lava would. It will cook you in a second. So you don't want to mess with that. Oh, yep, there's a treasure chest somewhere around here, but I'm not even going to mess with it right now. Er, oh, there it is. On up the ladder. There we go. Read that. On Elixir Well, the springs of the elixir. Another elixir well is built on the backs of workers slaving away tirelessly to gouge a tunnel into the earth. The plans for this construction are otherworldly. The chasm spits fumes with every jab. Thin veins of mist cause headaches and irritate the eyes, all for the elixir. I hope this foul air will not spread to Lone Thistle. Balthazar. Balthazar was everywhere. There's a little restore time thing. Whole bunch of bugs. And this is a bug spawner. You want to destroy those when you can. That way you don't get overloaded with bugs coming at you. Also, when you're inside the shroud, you cannot fast travel. You have to get out of the shroud to fast travel. Brayling Bridge, that's the giant bridge there that you crossed over earlier. That drops you into who knows where. I don't think I ever even investigated down there, but I don't really feel the need to go down there. Oh, needed the shroud spores, so it's always good to find some enemies and get that. Oop, falling into holes. Not really a good thing. There we go. We get out of the shroud. Back up this path to get towards base. Let's do this. There we go. Extra meat. Yeah, the fast wand is a good weapon for taking on enemies from a distance. Doesn't do as much damage as some of the bigger wand, like the staffs, but it's a lot faster and it relies on stamina instead of magic power. Alright. The shroud has torn Embervale asunder. Now that you brought me back to life, I don't even recognize the place. Try to get a better view at the top of the ancient spire over yonder.
Tell me what you need.
Scaling an ancient
Hmm?
spire. Embervale has changed.
Uh,
Before our time, a race of ancients built towers to survey the land. The ancient spires, one is close by. Climb it and discover the world anew.
Never force it. Just get a bigger hammer.
this in there. Let's put those and all that stuff. And keep the shroud core on me. Let's delete that. Let's salvage that. Salvage. Put the food away in the boxes. I'll put these in there. Grab that. Put this guy's head in there. Craft another one of these. There we go. Amber Veil can be reclaimed. Collect sparks and offer them to the flame altar to strengthen the flame. Sparks lie scattered around the world in flame sanctums and flame shrines. Now, if we pull out some bones, penny bun, and the spark that we've got, we can upgrade our flame and have more altars around the map. So we need bones, we need magic mushrooms. What else did we need? Oh, we need the spark. Oh, okay. What I got from that guy was not a spark. It was a shroud core. We'll go head toss those into there. That way later on we can make that. Upgrading the altar increases its size. That's what you use the shroud core for. But I think that I'm going to call it a day for this one. I hope you all enjoyed it. Give me comments. Let me know what you think. Let me know if there's anything I can do better. Make it more enjoyable for everybody. And I hope you all have a good day.